threat approach, where you just have flowers and take a calm fourth base, and everything is dandy and fine.
The incense burner is out, Apollo. It's very, very dangerous. But right now I can bring you EG's Huck, who is currently at 1 game in this best-of-3 series. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northeast. Versus his opponent, it is Check 6 Sleep. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the southwest.
And Daybreak is a map that's been played so often. It's very textbook style, it's very repetitive. You see the same thing over and over again here. But maybe from Huck we'll see something a little bit different, because he changed things on Cloud Kingdom. He can change it again. And Huck is a player that used to stream a lot, but he doesn't stream that much anymore. And you don't really get to see his practice, his thought process behind his moves, and how he evolves his game. And every time he comes to an MLG event, as we said, Tolobiscuit, he performs.
He does.
And he's performing right now.
Yeah, without question. This is a really good start for him. The last thing that he wanted to happen was to throw that first game, end up having to fight down from the losers bracket. Come on, who is lurking in the losers bracket? We've got MMA lurking in the losers bracket already, not to mention... Oh, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it, man. And Huck doesn't want to be there either. Doing once again his little mining trick here, trying to disrupt the workflow of the drones of Sleep. Bit micro-intensive, but a player of Huck's caliber can pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Sleep, is he going to take gas again? Because of he used it very well, but I don't think he used it well enough. I mean, it kind of allowed him to deny scouting, but he didn't. And he didn't really use it aggressively either. But we'll see. I mean, I actually I'm a fan of taking gas earlier on, which it looks like he's going to do here again. And it also opens up the possibility of aggression. We may not see it, though. It is Daybreak. It's a very big map. Huck, understanding that it's a bloody big map, takes a Nexus Burst once again here, followed by the Forge. And on this map, I wouldn't expect Lings to get in.
No,
like previously.
The rush distance is just much, much larger. So it would be surprising, honestly. It's not entirely impossible, but Huck does not want that to repeat. It was an annoyance in the first game. It did do damage. It was certainly worth the investment.
And of course, the game director of this tournament, for anybody that didn't know, is Adabasi. Does the ESB weekly, and he's helping us out here. Once again at MLG, consistently their observer. So you guys can compliment his work here. And I like it, man. I like having an observer helping us out.
It's nice. It's a hands-free experience for us as casters more often than not, which is not something I particularly use. It's actually the first tournament we've ever done with a pro observer, and I think that a lot of people are probably thanking their lucky stars that it's not me doing it.
Or me. I'm actually really bad too.
You are pretty terrible, honestly, but then it takes a lot of practice, as many people know, to be a great observer, which is why Startail Legend is such a legend in that regard, and why Adabisi is also that fantastic. So there's his bro love for this particular
That's enough
tournament.
now. I'm not going to talk about it ever
no
again.
more.
Anyway, Chronoboost now coming down on both Nexi. Is he going to continue to Chronoboost into the Nexus series? Is he going to save a little bit up? Is he going to get the +1 upgrade? That's key there. We do have a probe at the top left, managing to stay alive. Who's going to look for this third base? Huck knows that if the third base isn't there, it doesn't mean that it's not there, it's not coming there. The next timing for a third base to come down is the 6-minute mark, but he wants to try to mineral click his way into the main to see, is he mining gas? The queen change, though, is a pain. But there's not another queen there in time, and Huck clicks the extractor, sees only 100 gas mined, and has a Canadian smile on his face.
Indeed he does, which is just like a regular smile, just more polite, and possibly more delicious, but I cannot confirm or deny that regardless of what the papers say. Huck gets the information that he needs with that probe, regardless of that extra queen change. That's going to be such an interesting dynamic in this tournament, I feel, honestly. The queen change is massive, more so than many people seem to realize.
Stargate coming down for Huck, who actually didn't get +1, saved his gas for this. Whether he'll try to expand behind it or... Well, he's actually taking double gas now, so upon taking double gas, this means you can build a lot of sentries while doing this. Because he's not really looking to do a +1, like +1 Zealots and Void Ray. So it kind of seems like it's the genius build that he used against Dongray Gu in the finals. So he'll get potentially he could get the Void Ray if he wants to try to do damage to the third base. If not, just straight to Phoenixes, start to harass his opponent and slow them down, but at the same time can use them for defensive reasons as he starts to build up his sentry count. That's the most likely option, but still isn't the option yet, as there's still a lot of branches that Huck can swing from?
Well, there's the Void Ray coming out from Huck, so going to be looking to apply a little bit of pressure to that third base. The 2 more gases were spotted by this Overlord over to the right-hand side there, who has now decided to evacuate, having done his work, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Roach Throw and Evolution Chamber on the way up for Sleep. Pretty appropriate timing for both, honestly, so it's not like he necessarily suspects it just yet.
Yeah, you know, he has Sleep has no idea what's going on right now, but one thing he knows, it's not +1. It's not, because he knew that there was the Nexus first and then double gas has been put down really fast on the natural, so he knows that Huck hasn't invested in gateways. So he actually doesn't need to cut the drone count too low here. He's currently at 53, going to 55, and the Void Rays are being saved here.
I like
Huck throwing down additional 4 gateways, so what he's looking to do here is just go bam, there the Void Rays, deal with it, like, instantly. Will Sleep have the reactions? He does have very nice overload spread across the map, though.
Yeah, which is, I think, actually part of the reason why Huck's trying to hold these back. He doesn't want these spotted by any errant Overlord. It's fortunate
3 Spore Crawlers total risk it.
He does suspect something.
Yeah.
But that's 1 per mineral line, though, so it's still a little bit standard. It's, if he'd added on any more than that, then we can surely say, oh, he thinks a starport's coming, or DTs, one way or the other. But no, it's just 1 per mineral line. Yeah,
and Huck's gonna, well, he is researching +1 now. But with 3 Void Rays, he's actually just going to move across the map now and try to do damage and kill that third base. That's Huck's goal. Does he have a probe out? No, because the map vision is fantastic. Sleep, though, killing a pylon in the bottom right here, a little bit of annoyance for Huck, and these also could be a threat for a counterattack, which may pull Huck back, and, well, at least keeps Huck back.
Yep, force field's going down. Really nice catch there by Huck. Cuts that force into shreds.
8 Lings inside there. It's a pretty nice grab, but the 3 Void Rays are on approach to the third base.
Yep, there's actually a Hydra Den coming down now. That's an interesting reaction there by Sleep. Forced to put that down to deal with it. Queen range was not upgraded for air, folks, so no additional advantages there one way or the other. There is another Spore Crawler coming down, however, and it looks like he's not going to be able to deny that third base just yet.
Yeah, and Huck sees that this is not going to work, so he actually has a third Nexus down as well. Still has decent sentry count because he took the double gas pretty early, but he has to be very careful because he doesn't have that many force fields, because he spent a lot of gas in air. He doesn't really have gas on the ground, and now Huck's moving forward, but it looks like with the unit production coming down, with Hydros on the way, and if we keep seeing aggressive creep spread from Sleep from his natural to the third base, he could actually try for a little 3-base Hydra push here.
Which is not as uncommon as it sounds, honestly. And Hydralisks are being used more and more these days, simply because people have managed to find a way around their lack of mobility, and that extra creep spread you can get at the start thanks to the changes is making them a little bit more viable. The pressure coming in on the third right here, just 4 Roaches to try and pull the army out of position. The Lings were poking in on the natural as well. Now backing off, getting a nice surround there on that Zealot. Good wall off right there, followed up by the force fields to prevent them from escaping, and that's a nice defense, a nice hold once again here by Huck. But my worry is that Huck hasn't done damage yet, and that +2 range is on the way, and a Roach Hydra push could be following up right here.
Well, with the creep spread, as we see in the center of the map, is that it's been spread up rather than down.
Yeah.
Well, north rather than south. So he's actually not looking to be aggressive with the Hydras because they won't be able to move off creep. If he'd spread it towards Huck, he could have gone. But he probably would just sit back and take a 4th base now. He still could do some damage, but not as much because he won't be able to reinforce it in time. So Huck is actually in a pretty damn good shape now with the 3rd base up, with the gas being taken there as well. He just needs to make sure and keep scouting with the Phoenixes, make use of them. Void Rays to defend, Phoenixes to scout.
Which is exactly what he's doing, and that's very, very nice from Huck here. Warps in a few more Zealots just to deal with this marauding Ling run by. Nice around there by Sleep, once again, picks off, in fact, doesn't get the Stalker, doesn't want to keep them there. Brings in a Sacrificial Overlord, which is immediately shut down there by the Phoenix count. Huck, very, very tight on his play at the moment, playing his cards very close to his chest, going for an Immortal and also going for Colossus. So if there is any attempt to go for this Roach Hydralist push, that's what shuts it down.
And Huck has seen that there's no 4th base, so he's like, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you taking a 4th base? I'm on 3 bases. You should not be on 3 bases. So Huck now in a defensive stance, getting the Robotics Bay to kind of deal with the Hydras. The Robotics Bay will not come into play here.
No,
it's all about the force fields of Huck's and not being caught out of position by Sleep, who will try to split Huck in defensive measures.
Indeed, he's going in a bit early here. He's going in way before the +2, but It looks like he's pushing back a little bit. Maybe we'll try to flank around the slow movement of the Hydras, impeding it, and looking to try and get onto the third with that
Huck's going to try and grab this. He's trying to grab him. He's going to get them.
Can he get him? Oh, there's the force fields down there. Good force fields. He cuts that army in half very nicely. Will he have enough, though? That's a lot of Hydralisks and a hell of a lot of damage, but he does catch them before the +2 kicks in, which is crucial.
Huck isn't going to let this army escape. There's no creep here. Hydras are so slow. Huck is charging down this army, and Huck going from a defensive stance to being, hey, wait a minute. Don't you try something like this, and pushes him back.
Finally, the +2 kicks in, but it's too late. He goes in far too early. The Hydralisk count taking an absolute pounding here. Doesn't have the force field energy to wall anymore off, but it's easy to chase down a wiggly little Hydra. There's a nice grab right there as the Phoenix comes in for the interception. Down goes the Hydralisk again. Huge losses being taken. I just want to point out the resources lost, by the way. Look at that. The Zerg player having lost a ton more than Huck, who's only lost 2,000 resources across this game. Incredibly efficient engagements in play.
Counter-attacking coming, though. Huck was far out of position chasing
by
this army, but there are Stalkers and a Zealot wall in, but the Stalkers are in danger, and this is a nice little trade, minerals for gas.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Just throw it in there. Does the damage necessary, can actually even make his way into the third mineral line. Colossus, oh, he doesn't want to, surely he's not going to lose Colossus to Lynx. Oh, that was close right there. And I'm actually almost surprised that Huck didn't turn around to blast those Lings apart, but he didn't want to risk getting surrounded.
Huck has not continued to upgrade here. He doesn't have a Twilight Council. So he's like stuck at +1. This is really, really weird here from Huck, and could be the downfall of him in this game. He's played a nice game so far, but this is actually beautiful for Huck. Huck is about to come down. He's going to sit on this army. He's going to poop, and this army's going to fall.
Well, that's a delicious image, Apollo. Thank you very much for that one. The bowel habits of Huck are on display right now for all to see, and the army, needless to say, gets absolutely massacred. Lynx try to get in, but perfect force fields once again here by Huck. And those Slings having a little bit of a party. And now a Mutalisk transition here from Sleep, and the lack of Twilight Council could really hurt Huck here. He doesn't have the upgrades, and he's got no blink.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Twilight Council, he doesn't have upgrades, he doesn't have a heavy gateway count either, and this Mutalisk switch should not be doing this damage here. But Huck has kind of neglected things. He's pushing out, he doesn't care. He's just going to go for a counterattack, knowing his opponent has spent 1,500 gas in Mutalisk. He doesn't have roaches. He doesn't have Hydras. So Huck is basically going for the kill and saying, no, you come to me. You come to me, you come defend.
Yeah, it's a good time for Huck to do it, honestly, as well, because while Huck's been slacking on the upgrades, Sleep hasn't exactly been powering ahead in that regard either. Only just now starting +1 ground attack. He's switched out of roaches to that +2 range that we saw really isn't coming into play here. So actually, Huck's got a really good opportunity here as long as he doesn't get caught out of position. The Mutalisks come around, this big army pushing forward, a lot of firepower available here for Huck as the Mutalisks ravage the third.
One pylon that rules all these cannons, but he doesn't quite have the firepower there. Huck saves the third base. That's all Huck has to do. He doesn't care about his main and natural now. He's going for a base trade scenario where all he has to do is defend that third base and Huck will win this game. But is he going to defend it with Lynx coming in to the third base? The Stalker count, the cannons are in danger. So is Huck's game.
Force field's coming down right now to try and defend the cannons. He doesn't quite have enough to stop the surround from coming in. This is looking really, really grim for Huck at the moment. Forced to bring the Stalkers back here. The Link count is very, very low now, so he can't get the surround he needs. A lot of Mutalisks being torn out of the sky here. The army that's trying to take on Sleep Space is severely diminished at the moment, but he still has Void Ray firepower, Colossi and Stalker to back that up.
All right, everybody, a moment to focus here. There's only 9 probes on the map for Huck. He has to kill his opponent now. With charged Void Rays and Stalkers and the Guardian Shield underneath the army inside the main, he will be able to hold on against the Mutalisk pressure. But there's so many. This is it. This is it. The last engagement.
Yep, all or nothing right here for Huck. Can he actually do the job? The Mutalisks come in. There's a lot of Mutalisks, man. A hell of a lot of Mutalisks. No upgrade, no blink, no hope right here for Huck. And that is all of the air-to-air gone.
Yeah, and like I said, there's 12 probes now for Huck versus 45. He did lose Sleep, did lose a lot of infrastructure. But at the same time, he still has bases all over the map now. And Huck is in a disastrous position. I don't know why, guys. You ask Huck why he didn't upgrade, why he didn't continue to get +2, why he didn't continue to get blink. Because without that mobility, how the hell can you fight the fastest army in the game, Ling Muta, when you are stuck like a snail.
You can't. It's as simple as that, and that is on display right now for all to see, along with Huck's battle habits. Oh dear, I'm not liking this for Huck at all. He went for the risky base trade. If the Mutas weren't on the map, sure, he could have pulled that off, no problem at all. But that is not the case, and Huck microing his heart out with this one Phoenix here, trying to do the damage he needs, which is incredibly difficult. And finally, we see Blink coming in. Can he hold on with such a massive economic disadvantage?
Well, basically what he's doing is he's going to get Blink, he's going to go. That's it. So I don't know how that's going to work, and probably not well. There's 23 Mutalisk out compared to just 16 Stalkers, and he's losing pylons left and right. He's using units if he's caught out of position. And they're going to be +2 Lings shortly as well. That, you see the upgrade coming down. Lings alone will beat Huck out of this game. So I really do feel that Huck has just made colossal mistakes in this game. And it's really cost him this match.
It really has. That Phoenix has got to be one hell of a hero right now in order to bring down that many Mutalisks, and kills his own Forge just so that he can get in there. 25 Mutalisks on the field, +2 Flyer coming in. The economy.
Nexus under threat as
oh,
well.
Man. Every single second. There's the third taking the damage, and the Zealots warped in to deal with that. They're not quite enough. Another Zealot comes in, already taking damage, and the Mutalisk count still incredibly high. 2 more. He's on 27. He's going to be on 29. Blink's about to come into play. This is the final gambit of Huck with a massive disadvantage. Can he do the job?
Is he gonna? No. Sleep gets out just in time. Doesn't manage to pick anything off. As you can see on screen on our sexy jewel screen there, the Zealot does get warped in to deal with the Lings there, so he does save his third base. But Huck has to go soon. Oh, he gets a Blink, but he doesn't quite grab a Mutalisk, and it's getting more and more dangerous now. The Muta and Link count is so incredibly high.
Well, that's now been revealed as well, honestly. Sleep now knows there's Blink available, so I doubt he's going to be particularly concerned with going in there. There goes the third Nexus. Things are looking nasty for Huck. Can he even push at this point? I don't think he's got the unit count.
If he pushes, Sleep says, yeah, all right, you're welcome to enter my realm as I destroy yours and you leave the game. So it's very difficult for Hulk to actually move out. He actually can't. He's going to have to, otherwise he can't win the game. As weird as that is, anybody that plays StarCraft knows you have to kill your opponent's base.
It helps, honestly.
It helps, but Huck can't. And Sleep has done an amazing job here to actually change this game from what it seemed to be a losing game from Sleep to a winning game, and he's on the verge of drawing this series up. Yeah,
it's really a matter of time now, honestly. Sleep's been sitting on this economy, and Huck hasn't had one for the last 5 or 10 minutes, so any opportunity he would have had to really turn this around has essentially evaporated. A massive supply lead here for Check 6 Sleep, looking to get back into it. There's the Blink from Huck, doesn't really do an awful lot. There's no way out of this, really. He is building a Templar Archives, looking to maybe just get a really lucky storm to clean up that Mutalisk count, but that would be a Hail Mary from him, honestly.
Yeah,
and there's another Blink.
He doesn't even have gas. He's got 60 gas
doesn't.
in the bank, and Sleep's like, hey man, I'm about to have +2, and guess what? +2 Mutalisk will absolutely shred
45.
the 1-0 Stalkers, and it's getting very, very bad. Look, 200 supply versus 62. Huck is just staying in the game, trying, or he's just basically not saying, he's saying, no, I'm just not going to quit. I'll stay till you end the game and kick me out. And it's a very valiant effort from Huck. But as everybody knows, it's had this scenario before, Mutalisks without splash damage actually are unstoppable here.
They really are. That was a big thing for the longest time, where the mass Muta style would be used against Protoss because it was incredibly hard to deal with. And without Blink Stalker, without Storm, without any probes, there's just no way. And this is the death blow coming in here from Sleep as it rolls across the map. The Mutalisk count is at a staggering 46 with +2. Even more upgrades coming in here. And with Baneling Speed coming in, I have to wonder, does Sleep decide to showboat this?
This is going to be the most one-sided battle anybody's going to see for the entire of the weekend. Brace yourself, because it won't happen again.
No, it will not. And we're just going to have a look at Sleep's point of view right now to see how ridiculous this will be.
Look at how much this guy sees. Everything. Absolutely everything. Look how fast he's maneuvering around the map, controlling his Mutalisk. He'll actually take a fight. I would not be surprised if he turns around and says, what's up?
Yeah, he could do it. I love the fact he's still macroing behind this. There's no need for him to do that. Chronobus coming on that Templar Archives, but Ling after Ling comes in, and the Mutalisk coming from the back. He could have done it with either of those armies, as far as I'm concerned. Can Huck hold on again against that? A lot of Lings being killed off very nicely here by Huck, but unfortunately, the Mutalisk count is the big threat here as he rolls over, and there's the GG.
Yeah, completely one-sided there. And Sleep was never in a position where he could drop that game. But I'm very interested to go over to the analysis because we have a special guy that's arrived.
We do. He's very special.
He has arrived. So, guys, you just watched that game. What'd you think?
Well, you know, the Twilight Council was very, very late. By the way, welcome, DJ Lee, to MLG Spring Arena 2.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. I'm a little late, but it's okay. I came in at a good time. I saw Grubby beat Oz, and then this game going back and forth. So I'm all ready to rock and roll.
Well, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
last game we saw the Twilight Council was obviously very late. The tech choice from Sleep really hurt Huck. I mean, he had no answer for those Mutalisks, and Huck is the type of player who I respect him staying in that game because he is, I've said this so many times, he's like the only player who can be a third of the supply of a Zerg and hold his bases and actually come back. I've seen him do it before, and I respect his decision to stay in the game because he had the potential to come back, but it just was not going to happen against a player of this caliber.
Well, in their first engagement that took place at the third, when Sleep was attacking, at that point I was like, well, this game looks like it's going to be over. He just lost his entire army, but the Mutalisk transition seemed to work out just phenomenally for him, and you know, rolling. It's obviously a little risky at the front, but we didn't see an attack from Huck after that, or an attempted one, and the Mutalisks are able to roll in and get the job done.
When you take an early advantage from killing Huck's army like that, and you see it's a very robotics-heavy army, that's the moment where you think, okay, I can make this Mutalisk tech switch work no matter what. He has no presence on the map, and I'm just going to keep him in his base forever until he has to GG.
And it's almost like a bit of a risk when a Zerg player says that, because at the same time, at the high level, when players do not make mistakes, they should not actually not have the equipment to deal with that. They should actually still have +2 attack coming. They should still have Blake coming.
Absolutely.
And I don't know why Huck stopped it. Did he get complacement? Do you think that?
I think that may be potentially it. It may have just been an oversight by him. He may have thought that he built the Twilight Council and just in the end did not make it. It's hard to say. This is the kind of question that would be asked in an interview because it's hard to make a judgment from our perspective to say, did he try to skip Twilight Council because he's trying to do something weird here? Did he forget? I mean, it's hard to assume a player forgets, especially at this level.
I bet Huck's a little shaken up by that, just a little bit, because when literally when I started watching the game, it looked like Huck had the early advantage, was going to really roll with it and win. So I feel like that was Huck's game to lose.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing, isn't it? It can shake your psyche as a result of making such a crucial error and realizing later down, oh, this is why everything happened. Yeah. This one linchpin of my play that I should have got nailed down, I've done it thousands of times already, was not there, and the whole machine falls apart.
And it goes to Game 3.
It
and
does
that's
indeed.
the end of that story.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, though, that Game 3, Map 3, is actually Antigua's Shipyard. And it's statistically a very difficult map, or what should I say, more difficult map for Protoss players to actually survive aggression while trying to take a third base. So Huck now, because of whatever went through his mind in game number 2, has really set himself up for a difficult victory, which should have been easy.
Yeah, he should have had that. It should have been 2-0, no problem at all.
Yeah.
And it was not as a result of a blunder. And that's the worst thing for Huck, because you've seen him do this, and when he does make a mistake like that, he can really beat himself up about it, which is not what he needs to do right now. He at least is grinning. You can see there on stream he's not completely psyched out, and that's a good thing. The last thing he wants to do is lose before he even starts, because his mind gets all messed up.
All eyes on that one individual there,
Indeed.
EG's Huck. Consistent high place for an MLG